Hello, Gator Country. I'm Cassidy Hill. This is Nick Delatorre out here at the final spring practice before the orange and blue game. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Not really, but we've kind of seen everything, I guess, that we're at least going to see, that we need to see thus far. But today we got to see offensive line versus defensive line really going at it. Mm-hmm. And I know you had some words about that after practice. Tell the people what you saw today.
Well, surprise, the defensive line dominated the offensive line. But I think what I really took away from it, because it was the first time where we really saw the offensive line and defensive line go head-to-head, full speed. They kind of tucked that stuff away on the other side of the field. So today was the first time we saw it. And guys that you really expect to anchor Florida and to be leaders on the offensive line. Obviously, Rod Johnson's not out there anymore, but David Sharp. I watched David Sharp get discarded like a rag doll by Joey Ivey. And then I turned to somebody and I said, I want to know, is the offensive line or is the defensive line that good, or is it how bad the offensive line is? So I don't know if the four that Florida has starting with Alex McAllister, Joey Ivey, John Bullard, and Taven Bryan, I don't know if those four are just really good at football, and Ivey and Taven have come along so much in this last year, or if the players they're going against are just really bad.
What do you think?
I think hopefully it's a little bit of both. Obviously, you know, Trip Thurman's not there, Rod Johnson's not there. Coach McElwain today talked about, you know, he doesn't like to put a freshman offensive lineman in there because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of projecting. It's a very developmental position. But Martez Ivey's coming in. Maybe he can play. I really like the athleticism that Ivey and Bryan both bring, but I'm still not sure, because it's a double-edged sword in spring. I'm not sure if the offense, I know the offensive line's bad, but are they bad enough that the defensive line is only mediocre, but they look like world beaters out here?
The offensive line of the past couple of years, you know, so many times we've watched these games and we've gone, oh gosh, no, like hold up. And then the other day, during the Gators Pro Day, I noticed later on the SEC Network replay, they were talking about the offensive linemen that could probably get drafted. Not even free agents, but drafted, and it would be like one of the first offensive tackles in 10 years or something like that. And I'm sitting here thinking, we complained about these guys. Were they just a product of the system, and is maybe that what you see being left over with the guys out there right now?
They could be a product of the system. I think the guy everyone is really talking about is DJ Humphries. And DJ Humphries played a similar role to what David Sharp did. As a freshman, everyone thought Humphries was fantastic. He had a great year. He was all freshman All-SEC. But he really only played in jumbo packages. So when Florida would go to 6 offensive linemen down in the goal line, down in some third and short areas, that's when Humphries would play. So he's coming in fresh. Now there's an extra offensive lineman there. And I think everyone was frustrated with him because they didn't see the progression. Okay, well, he's all freshman SEC his first year, and then maybe a little bit worse his second year, and then a little bit worse even after that. So I think that's the struggle you'll see. And then last year, David Sharp was in that same role. I'm worried that maybe he'll take that same path, that same trajectory. But right now, NFL teams on paper are looking at 6'7", 310 pounds, and look at his feet. He moves really well. Then they turn on his college film, and they see, oh, look, he moves really well. Well, he played at 280. He's 30 pounds heavier now. Is he still moving well in pads with an NFL defensive lineman in front of him? Because DJ Humphries is athletic. He's going to look good when they're in, you know, Nike Pro Combats running through drills with no pads on.
That was a little extra NFL update for you there. The offensive line that we have here now, though, and sorry, guys, because, I mean, you know how much I love an offensive lineman. They're kind of what's keeping Saturday from being a true orange and blue game.
Right.
It's going to more be – McElwain did say today they were going to have quarters and try to have live practices, but they were all going to be on the same side. He tried to pass it off as like, oh, like the old Chicago Stadium. It's to make it easier to switch jerseys. We know that's why. What are we going to actually see Saturday? Like, what can fans expect?
Well, I thought no way you would have an actual game, quarters and reps, game reps. But they're going to try to do it. They're running, it's a little slick. They're running 12-minute running clock quarters. So the first quarter, once that clock starts, nothing stops. Incomplete pass doesn't stop it. Running out of bounds doesn't stop it. I think you're going to see the least amount of plays possibly run in a 12-minute span given a time clock. So I think they're trying to put a nice bow on it. We know GatorCountry members are flying in. People are coming in for the weekend, and to have a scenario where it was 2 years ago where you didn't really tell people what the spring game was going to be or how it was going to go, and then to have people make that trip and pay for gas and drive and pay for a hotel.
Practice.
And it's just a practice. People were really upset. So I think maybe the UAA has learned from that past mistake, and now they're trying to let people know, like, hey, it's not going to be that. If I was a fan, I would not be excited to come to it, being honest. I just think there aren't enough numbers. You've got really 6 healthy offensive linemen, and you can't run a scrimmage. It's not smart to. Everything they're doing right now as far as trying to do this is all marketing. It's all trying to keep fans happy. It's definitely not what's best for the football team.
Those are harsh words there. But, so they are going to actually try to have a game. But, like you said, with only 6 healthy offensive linemen, should fans take everything they see on Saturday with a grain of salt?
Yeah, absolutely. Fans need to temper their expectations for what they're going to see on Saturday.
And what that means for the fall.
What that means for the fall. And then, depending on what your expectations are for the fall, I know we talked about this last week about as far as how much work there has to be done. If your expectations are for the SEC championship next fall, I think you're also going to need to start tempering those as well.
Switch teams.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be exciting. Don't really know what to expect except the unexpected at this point, and hopefully no injuries.
Hey, knock on wood. No
exactly.
injuries.
So we'll be there, and we'll have your update after that. So your final bow on spring practice coming Saturday should be exciting. Thanks so much, Nick.